Good morning, dear students. Welcome back to today's biology class. In today's biology class, we discussed about the another important examination corner question. That questions will be asked for you in the theory level and also in the NEET level. What is that concept? That concept is nothing but a population growth. So, in previous classes, we discussed in this chapter how the organisms are undergoes the link with the population and abiotic factors. So, like that, in last class we discussed about the population attributes. Those attributes play very important role in the characters of the organisms. What are those attributes? You discussed that attributes based on the birth and death rates. Next, sex ratio, next age distributions, and finally the population size. These are the 4 attributes involving in the organism's lifespan. So, like that only, today's class we go for the discussion about how we are going to analyze the population growth. Just come. What the first point, what is this population growth? See, the size of a population of any species is not a static parameter. It is not a constant. We are not going to say it is a constant. It must be have the constant temperature. No. The fluctuation is going on. It's not a static parameter. It keeps on changing in time depending on various factors. Like that factors they are mentioning here, what are those? Food is there, predators is there, and another one is that climate conditions are there. Just think about this general concept will give the idea about the how the organisms are changes during a period, changes during a climatic conditions. It is not a constant, it is not a stable. We are not depending only on the food. We are not depending only on the climatic conditions. We must be required all the parameters. As you know that temperatures are there, water will be required to body, or also we depend upon the soil concepts. Like that all abiotic factors must be required to organisms. So, that's why students it will be fluctuated during a changing in a time based on the factors like first one food. Yeah, because sometime food will be available, sometime it's not available. So, based on that conditions the organisms are planned for their life purposes. Like that predators. If the predators attack, predators we are basically call it is enemies. If enemies attack to any population, ಯಾವುದಾದರೂ ಸಮುದಾಯಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು enemy, ಯಾವುದಾದರೂ ಒಂದು species, that's carnivorous species if you think, if it is attack, what happens? ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Then that population ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ fluctuate ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆ fluctuate ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, so that will be a carnivorous animal like a tiger or lion. If it is attacked to any population, it must be kill the organisms which are present in the population. Due to that reasons, that population must be fluctuated. So, that's why they are going to give the predators. If we want to survive, we must be required food, survival of the fittest, like that. And another one is that climatic conditions. Yeah, it also play very important role because we are going to see many seasons are there. As a rainy seasons or winter season or summer season, we must be adjusted to that condition. Then only we are survive. If we are not adjusted means, then always we are in the mode of migratory mode. So that's why dear students, if you want to existing in your initial habitat, you must be adjusted to all type of the climatic conditions. So, based on this way we know that the growth of the population will be takes place. Then come next one. The population in a given habitat during a given period fluctuates due to 4 basic processes. What they given here? What that means? The population in a given habitat, that place where the living organisms are staying, habitat during a time, during a given period, it will be goes on changes based on the 4 basic processes, due to 4 basic processes. What are those? The first one, natality, mortality, immigration and emigration. So these are asked for you in the exams, whether it is in the long type questions or 1 mark questions. Just think about how the population growth will be affected. The population growth will be affected due to the 4 basic processes: natality, mortality, immigration and emigration. What is this natality? Just come here. Natality meaning, it refers to number of births. This is very important point. Concentrate this word. Number of births during a given period in the population that are added to initial density. How much density is there? Just think about, in a population there are almost all the density of this population should be 100. Okay. If it is any new species will be arrival or birth will be takes place, thus plus 10 species will birth takes place, then what is the population of this habitat? It must be a 110. What is the initial density of this population? That should be 100. How many birth will be takes place? 10. Then what is the number of existing population? 110. So like this, so this concept we call it is a natality. That period, that time, how many births takes place. So that initiated that is called as a natality. This natality will be affected to the population growth automatically. That's why, dear students, natality meaning birth. How many birth takes place during a given period. So that's we call it as a natality. Then comes second one. What is that? Mortality. It's very, very simple. Then come mortality. What is this mortality? It is a number of, see, opposite of that one, number of deaths in the population during a given period. Yeah, dear students, it is the number of deaths in the population. Just think about same examples. The initial density of population 100, there is the minus 10 will be death. Then what is the existing population? That existing population must be become as how much? 90. So this indicates that there are 10 organism or 10 species are become die. Due to that death condition, it's also affected to the growth of a population, and that death concept we call it is a mortality. Mortality meaning is that death in a given period. Same, it is a number of deaths in the population during a given period. That's we call it is a mortality. So ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೋರಿ, ನೇಟಾಲಿಟಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಬರ್ತ್, ಮೋರ್ಟಾಲಿಟಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಡೆತ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಎನ್ ಮುಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಏನು ಬರ್ಕೊಂಬಿಡ್ರಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ನೇಟಾಲಿಟಿ ಇಸ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಬಿ, ಎನ್ ಬಿ, ಮೋರ್ಟಾಲಿಟಿ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಡಿ, ದಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಎಮ್ ಡಿ. ಒಂದು ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು, ಎಮ್ ಡಿ. ದೆನ್ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ಲಿ ವಿ ನೋ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ನೇಟಾಲಿಟಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆತ್ ಬಂದುಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತ್ ಬಂದುಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಥರನಾಗಿ ನೀವು ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ನೇಟಾಲಿಟಿ, ಮೋರ್ಟಾಲಿಟಿ. ದೆನ್ ಕಮ್ ಟು ದ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದಟ್? ಇಮಿಗ್ರೇಷನ್. ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಇಮಿಗ್ರೇಷನ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟ್ಯಾಟ್. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಸೇಮ್ ಸ್ಪೀಸೀಸ್ that have come into the habitat. So these two are correlated. What is that? Immigration and natality. Both are same condition, same meanings. What is that? It is the number of births. Okay, that's also new arrival species. Here also same. It is the number of individuals of a same species that have come. This is the word you can concentrate. Come into the habitat. Immigrants to our population. The same species will be coming into that habitat, means that is called as a immigration, and immigration denoted by a letter I. I ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಲೆಟರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಡಿನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಮಿಗ್ರೇಷನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸ್ಪೀಸೀಸ್ಗಳು ಆ ಹ್ಯಾಬಿಟ್ಯಾಟಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ಎ ಗಿವನ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಟೈಮ್. ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್. ಆ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಅದರಿಂದ ಏನು ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಫ್ಲಕ್ಚುಯೇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಮಿಗ್ರೇಷನ್. Then come to the fourth process. What is that? Emigration. Exactly opposite of immigration it is. What is that? It is the number of individuals of a same species left the habitat during a period of time. Come into the habitat, goes from the habitat. That's emigration. Emigration means the number of individuals of a same species who left the habitat during a given period time. That is called as a emigration. This emigration denoted a letter. What is that? E. ಯಾವ ಲೆಟರ್ ಇಂದ ಡಿನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಇದನ್ನು? E. Just simple concepts are there, dear students. If they ask for you in examination corner, easily you are going to write about these four processes. What are those? Natality, it is a birth. Mortality, it is a death. Immigration, organisms which are enter into the habitat. And emigration, the organisms which are left the habitat. That is emigration. So these are the four basic processes which fluctuates the population growth. So that's why the population in a given habitat during a given period fluctuates by four basic processes. The first one, natality, mortality, immigration, emigration, like that. Are you get these points? Then come next we go for the some equation based on those four basic processes. What is that? If you going to think about change in a population size during a given period of time t, then how we are going to mention? Change in population size is equal to the birth plus immigration minus death plus emigration. Means like this: b plus I minus d plus e, because this should be loss is going on here for that population size. Here gain is going on, b plus I minus d plus e. This is the exact calculation of the population size during a given period time t. Okay, change in a population is equal to the b means birth plus I means immigration. In this condition the population will become a increases. Then comes the d means mortality, death conditions. E means emigration, left the habitat. Here the population size will become a decreases. So that's why change in a population size is equal to the b plus I minus d plus e. This is the equation based on the time t. Then come next one is that if you consider as a, if n is the population density, already we know that if n is the population density, because population density denoted by letter capital N, the capital N is the population density at time t is equal to the n t plus 1 is equal to n t, same equation, plus b plus I minus d plus e. Here capital N is the population density. That's exactly number of the species. How many number of species? The number of species will be based on the b plus I minus d plus e, means that should be based on these four basic processes, whether the mortality and emigration or natality and immigration. These are all will be calculated also a population density of that population. That is the density of that population based on the capital N during a time t. Then come how these processes you are going to see by same one schematic representation is here. What is that? Just think about population density N, natality B, mortality D, immigration I, immigration E. You must be concentrate here in this diagram the arrow mark. What is that? Arrow mark. Just this is the population. Okay na? So natality means what is that? Birth rate means new species are come into the habitat. The new species are takes place birth means arrow mark goes to the population density. And second one is that immigration, because these two are correlated. Immigration means that's also new species come into the habitat, that is arrow mark coming to the population density. Just think about here and here. See, the mortality is nothing but a death. Those species which are present in the population, they are become die. What about the population growth? It will be decreases, means left the habitat, means these are goes from the habitat. That's why arrow mark goes to the mortality side. Same one is that immigration. There also a arrow mark goes to the from the population density. Like this is schematic represent reveals you about the 4 basic processes what they going to say. So based on that they are mentioned as a schematic conditions. So this is the idea about the 4 basic processes. What are those? Natality, mortality, immigration, emigration. Must be remember, it will be a very important question. And we discussed about the how these 4 basic processes are fluctuates the change in the population growth. Fluctuates the population growth. About this we are going to discuss in today's class. In next class we know about the main important, the last concept of this chapter, that is called as a population interaction and also a growth models. Now we are going to discuss about the population growth, and there are 2 types of the growth models are there. Those growth models are called as a, one is that logistic growth and another one is that exponential growth. Finally we go for the interaction of the population. Okay dear students, I hope you are going to get the idea about the today's class. That's we know that population growth. In next class we come again a new concept. Okay, thank you.